As darkness fell this evening, a tube train stood still on the track in West London. It is the scene of a terrorist attack, and one that has given the government reason to change its assessment of the terror threat.
I said earlier today that the national threat level was being kept under review. The Joint Terrorism Analysis Centre, that's the independent organisation which is responsible for setting the threat level on the basis of available intelligence, has now decided to raise the national threat level from severe to critical. This means that their assessment is that a further attack may be imminent.
The police are still looking for the person or persons behind this morning's attack. Tonight they explained what a change in the threat level will mean.
Whilst we chase down the suspects, as the public would expect, we're strengthening our policing resources on the streets of London and indeed across the country whilst continuing the investigation. The public should expect to see extra police resources, armed and unarmed on the streets, additional stop and search using counter-terrorism powers, and potentially additional road checks on the roads.
It was during rush hour this morning when there was a small explosion on that tube train as it made its way into the city.
Oh, is that bag's on fire?
These pictures were filmed a few minutes afterwards. Flames are emerging from a bucket wrapped in a supermarket carrier bag. It is an improvised explosive device.
The heat was so intense and the fireball just engulfed the whole tube carriage. Like the whole carriage was orange, just like coming towards us.
The streets around the station were quickly filled with the sound of sirens. The priority for the armed response units was to identify and contain any further threat to life. So the area was closed off. No one was sure at this stage what had happened, but it was immediately clear that people had been hurt.
This is about the time I saw it because the flames were about as they are in this picture.
Chris Wildish was another witness to the explosion.
There was a mighty flash that went up and into towards the ceiling. And then very quickly after that, a very strong chemical, what I describe as a chemically smell, that passed through the train. And then, quite scarily, there was a bit of a stampede that happened. So there were a lot of people who had burns around their face and the upper parts of their body. I saw one lady who her stockings seemed to have melted into her skin, which didn't look very good.
As commuters were cleared out of the area around the station, still they were unsure of the nature of the danger they were being moved away from. But as the cordons went up and stayed up, police confirmed that this was a terror attack. There were wires coming out of that bucket. It's understood the device had a timer. Whoever left it there wanted to maim and to kill. Beyond the cordon, there are so many questions which the police need to answer quickly to determine the nature of the threat. There'll be a forensic examination of what remains of that device. How sophisticated was it? And where and how was it put together? There has been a claim of responsibility this evening from the so-called Islamic State. There will be tentative feelings of relief among the authorities that the nature and extent of the injuries today were not much worse. But terror has become a regular visitor to this city, and the question that hangs heavily in the air here is, when will it come again? Geraint Vincent, News at 10.